Alright everybody, time to party! We have semi-final time here in the tournament, the Ice Cold Cup by Chili Mountain happening with pepeMLady going up against Washed Up in our first match. This is a semi-final here, we have a best of 3 series on our hands. And this should actually be pretty fun. We have top teams currently in both of our semis. And the Polish team is very eager to finally take Washed Up down here, who today play actually with Cure. So Wilkie already made a little bit of fun of the fact that we have 2 French people, 2 Germans, and 1 guy from North America playing on the side of Washed Up this time. So the first ban goes to Medivh right away. Nobody wants to deal with Hazu's stuff over here. Infernal Shrines is our first map, and it should be a fun one. I'm actually kind of looking forward to this. D.Va gets banned out immediately too. So this is one of the live tournaments that we have. It's also snowing in here. It's the middle of summer still, at least in Spain. We had 30 degrees today, but it's chilly on this mountain, so snow's coming down here too. So we have like a ton of special effects for everybody. But as we are heading into the rest of our first map, in our draft, we get Karrigan banned out too. So there we go. Karrigan gets banned, and with that we have one of Nick's heroes eliminated too. So you're not going to be able to hop around on this one. It's kind of sad. Then on the other hand, why wouldn't you ban that out? Urel gets banned, of course, too. The hero has just been, for the last, I want to say, like 2-3 months now, insanely powerful once more. So do, of course, a couple of heroes have a huge impact whenever they are drafted here. Imperius is another good example of a hero that you can still play on the side lane, but is by now more so a main tank. And is just, in the good hands, an absolute monster to deal with. Good damage output, good stuns, good setups for the team. And we'll see if that gets drafted again. First of all, we had Chromie in play. Alright.
Yay!
Shitty little gnome over here already joining the fun, so it seems like we're gonna have some burst damage from the outsiders. They're poking on Infernal Shrines. I gotta admit, as a first pick, that's not really a whole lot of what you normally see. So Chromia as a first pick is a little bit strange. The hero itself is of course being played not only on Infernal Shrines but on other maps too, but that's a huge priority for someone who does normally not get that much of a pick priority. And as I said, Imperius is always insane, so he gets picked immediately in the first rotation for Washed Up, and they're adding Deckard Cain too, which is pretty much something that we've seen a lot from Banana Age in the past. And Banana Age always just like jumps through a couple of combos, but here control is super important. And they're going to have that control with the seals of Deckard Cain, with Imperius, with the stuns that the 2 of them bring to the table. And of course, once that you're hitting your 20, you can really play also around those potions even further. For Wilkie, it's not really a surprise that he takes ETC. I mean, this is pretty much his go-to hero. We see him a lot with Johanna as well, or even Garrosh. I would say that those 3 are the heroes that he focuses on the most. He has, of course, others that he can deviate into. But if he gets a chance to play ETC, then normally we're seeing the Cow coming in as the main tank. And now the follow-up on Blaze, which doesn't only help them to take more stuns into the game and really get that CC going, despite the Gladiator's Medallion, of course, being around. But of course, on top of that, you have the AoE that helps you on the Shrine too. Yeah, with that said, on the ban pattern, we have now immediately the ban on Sylvanas. Quick side note here, since some people might expect that Gore Rider is going to play Sylvanas, so he's not here today. Wilkie talked about it a bit earlier, so apparently he has to work today, which is why he is not part of the team at this point. Gore Rider Sylvanas is, of course, insane, and something that was a lot of fun to observe in all the other tournaments that he played, but unfortunately, at least for now, they have to play without him. Leo gets banned too, no janitor in this game, so eliminating a little bit of the AoE that you can get would make for more of a squishy front line, but let's see what at the end of the day is going to be the side lane for Washed Up here. I mean, again, we still have... Hazu is actually for now locking in Imperius, very likely going to switch that over. But let's see what else they're gonna get. First of all, we got Jaina and we got Hanzo. Alright, so if they add an additional stun, then they have a real good setup to get the burst damage from Jaina out. And that's of course what they're going to be looking for with the side lane. Now, unless of course they play Imperius on the side lane, which you still can do. If you feel that another main tank would be more down your alley in this setup, then you could definitely do that, depending on what's still open on the side lane. Final few picks then again for the opponent's team, and right now what are we gonna get? We get Alarak and Anna. Alright. Yeah, Alarak in for Cesar Boss. I like that too, so that's cool. And what do we have as the last pick for Washed Up? I'm a little bit of a sad panda that Nick doesn't get to play as Carrigan, and it feels like these days we don't get to see that as often anymore. But of course, for good reason. He's just so dominant on the hero that people always target ban. I mean, very similar with Medivh on the other side, right? So now we got Zeratul. Ooh, that's only Imperia's frontline here. A bit of a squishy lineup for them. But still, game number 1, set up Infernal Shrines, ladies and gentlemen. Q apparently going to play Zeratul for them in this game. Washed up against pepeMLady. It's the semi-final of the Ice Cold Cup by Chili Mountain. So let's jump in to our first map of the series. And game number 1 is live, and on the left side of Infernal Shrines, our first map in the best of 3 series, we got Hazorps on Jaina. Cure on his European Smurf account is playing Zeratul, Masquerade on Imperius, Banana H on Deckard Kane, and Nick on Hanzo. 2 Frenchies, 2 Germans, and an American walk into a bar on Infernal Shrines, no matter how you're looking at it. Then on the right side of the map, the red team, the Polish team, with Wilq on ETC, Nashia on Chromie, Cesabos on Alarak, Dyla on Ana, and Richu is playing Blaze in this game. So this is going to be a bit interesting. I mean, it doesn't really happen all that often that we see North American players jumping onto the European server. We've been talking in the past a bit how now a lot of the EU players are actually playing on North America with the ping to simply prepare for the CCL. But it's kind of cool to see that Cure is trying to do the same thing, and actually with a hero that needs that ping. So his performance is going to be interesting there. First Blood then again goes immediately over to Washed Up as they are locking down Alarak at the bottom of the map. So really good trap, and he walked right into it. Didn't heed the Akbar warning. By now we also have on level 1 at least the cleave for Cure. We have Chromie with a more of a Dragon's Breath focus, as we've already seen in the past here. But this is definitely a great opening for Washed Up that they have. And Cure is already starting a bit of a rotation with the help of Hazorps bursting these waves down. So they have the wave clear here. Dodging out on this one too, not risking anything. Chromie is of course a little bit ahead of everyone else as we're looking at her talons as usual, and jump straight into the Andoral Anomaly. And it's time for the camps. 1 minute in, the first Khazra camps are spawning, and so do the Shaman camps that we see grabbed around the first objective. But at the bottom of the map, it seems like the Polish team wants to get the middle camp first, and nobody is really doing anything about that. So they're going to be able to walk away with it, which eventually should lead into a situation where they can take 2 camps to the one that was just now claimed by Washed Up. Walking into this again, there's the Gladiator's Medallion, already out though. Masquerade needs to be careful and is able to rush away, but that could have backfired here, of course, too. Now, in the meantime, we have still the Khazras in the middle. There's not really going to be too much happening here. Alarak is taking care of it. Of course, the rest of the red team is already looking at the next camp, but this is a slight advantage that now exists for pepeMLady, that they are able to take 2 out of the 3 camps at the bottom of the map. Top side, we still have our 1 versus 1 as Kyo goes up against Blaze. But interesting enough, he also focuses fully into the cleave build here. And this is a setup in which theoretically we actually could see Void Prison as the level 10 ability on Zeratul. And it's a little bit strange because the thing is, if you look at the European meta, for the last nearly 2 years, Void Prison is not picked at all. It's all about Might of the Nerazim, and as we're talking about Zeratul, he already gets murdered over here, so that's the first death on the side of Washed Up. But coming back to the point, so Might of the Nerazim is the standard pick and has been for a long, long time now in Europe. In North America, on the other hand, they still play a bit around Void Prison, and since we now have Jaina in the mix, there's definitely a chance that they're going to try to go for the Wombo. A problem with that, of course, is that we don't know how big the delay is that Cure is currently playing with. So if he has 140, 120 ping, that could really be a problem when you're talking about releasing the Void Prison and getting the combo with the Ring of Frost through. So the question is really, are they just believing in his abilities to be that one hero powerhouse that we see players like Dainu or Tai in with the Zeratul, or do they try to rely onto a composition with Ring of Frost, with Jaina, which would also of course mean that Jaina abandons her traditional pick into the water elemental. So a couple of things to definitely keep in mind for later on in the game. The build already suggesting that we have a bit more of a North American approach here from Zeratul, going also into the level 4 cleave, which we don't see all that often in Europe anymore. Same time, there's still a talent advantage for pepeMLady. I gotta admit, like, they're looking great here. On the first objective, thanks to the setup that they have, they're locking this one in without any trouble whatsoever. Now, Zeratul rotated between the bottom and the the mid lane, and is therefore able to catch them up in experience, but they had to let the first Punisher go without ever even fighting for it. So there's nothing happening with that either. We're looking at Alarak. He went into the Chaos Reigns and the Dissonance in his build, so really focusing full now into the Discord Strike at this point. Nice bait over the wall as usual, easy defense, but still the wall falls. Blaze has rotated back down to counteract Zeratul's push. But this is definitely a good start for pepeMLady. It's nothing really too impactful just yet. They weren't able to take a fort down. They didn't get any additional kills. But it's a good opening for them and nothing really too crazy happening. But they're trying to get the kill here. Gladiator's Medallion shuts it down though. Hazob's already using his Unstoppable to make sure of that. Keep also in mind, since the discussion is always raging on, that level 4 on Deck Arcane is not Ruby. So instead we have, once again, the potion of shielding over here. Bit of a brawl in the middle. Nice lockdown. A lot of Gladiator's Medallion cooldowns already used over here. On both sides by now. Yeah, with a 5-minute cooldown, a lot of the boys have to be careful at this point. But as we're looking at level 9 for pepeMLady, they will grab the early level 10. I don't really think that the advantage they have will translate in a huge lead around a fight, but they could still try to grab the third camp at the bottom of the map with the help of the earlier talent. So that's definitely possible for them. So right now everybody is already starting to yeah, Washed Up actually is going into the middle at this point, so trying to make their play there. Could definitely be one of these setups where we're gonna see the third camp again end up in the hands of pepeMLady. And the Polish team, I mean, they have been defeated Washed Up in the past too. The problem for them is that I don't think they've ever done it in a best of 3 and best of 5. They took maps of their opponent's team, but maybe today they have a bit of a chance here. As I said, there's also one of their players missing. Chromie, by the way, not a lot of stacks for her right now. On the level 1, Deep Breathing, we have a single stack out of the 20 that she needs. Part of that is, of course, because there was no fight at the top over the Punisher. Without a fight, she couldn't really get any stacks here. And now that we have the level 10, there we go. We have Void Prison without the Ring of Frost, so they're not going for the combo, but still pick the talent. So Cure going full NA over here. And no combo with Jaina. As I said, with one of the two tools within the combo having some ping issues since he's playing cross-server, a combo would have been really difficult to execute, so in this case they just decide against it. But still a bit awkward. Also awkward what's happening to Hanzo over here, but Nick gets away. What the hell? Instead, Wilq is in trouble. The arrow gets shot and he goes down. Here comes the Void Prison, and that is fantastic. The kill is in. Nicely done. And while Blaze is pushing the top side, we're going to take another look at this little fight here. As you can see, they got the kill initially against ETC, and then the Void Prison with the follow-up on Deck Arcane was just absolutely fantastic. So yeah, nicely done. And that's now 4 kills to 1. They were also able to establish the position over the shrine, where they now are able to take a lead. We have them a little bit ahead in experience. Topside was pushed by Blaze, but Zeratul rotated up to make sure that they're not losing out on any experience here. But that is definitely the kind of plays that we need from Washed Up for them to really get the lead here. Then again, Imperius is in a bit of trouble right now. Zeratul is already moving in, but Imperius is down, and Zeratul might be in trouble, and indeed is. So he goes down, nicely done, but the objective is still claimed by their opponent. So good job on the side of Washed Up to at least get the Punisher and make sure that the opponent's team doesn't get it. But as they're defending, let's take another quick look at how this actually shaped up. So first, they're really locking down Imperius and get the kill. Zeratul is trying to help out, but gets hit with the Chromie ult and doesn't have the Gladiator's Medallion anymore. Was on cooldown, so he gets sucked back in after he already used Blink, and therefore no chance for him to escape here. Nice double kill for pepeMLady. Easy defense, therefore, at the bottom. Top side, it seems like Richard was a bit too far out. Goes for his own Unstoppable with the new habits, trying to walk away, but they're ganking up hard on him. And even the bunker being used, but honestly, that bunker was a pretty dumb move. I mean, I don't really think that he needs it before the cooldown is back, but there was no real reason to use bunker. you can maybe try and make a little bit of an argument that he delayed the kill by another 2 seconds, which allows the team to take the camp at the bottom of the map. But even with an instant rotation, Washed Up wouldn't have been there in time. Ooh, North American arrow already underway, narrowly missing the target. But yeah, using the cooldown there doesn't make a lot of sense. Blaze is coming back in 3 more seconds, and his ult is going to be down for another 35. Is that going to be a game changer? Not really. Next fight over objective number 3 is not going to happen in that time frame, but it's definitely a habit that's always a bit like, eh. Yeah. Level 13 talents already, and we're going to check that out. We have, in the meantime, still Zeratul. Oh, they actually knew exactly where I was. Oh my god. That could have backfired so hard for Cure, but he is able to get away, and ETC is down. Nicely done. Very, very nicely done. So, in the meantime, they are trying to take the camp away. There's absolutely no way for pepeMLady to interrupt this, to challenge this in any way. And, of course, Blaze is holding on to the experience all up at the top. Oh, they actually try. Whoa, they are poking a little bit. They shouldn't be able to do anything here. Blaze is still sitting tight. 10 seconds for ETC. They need to be careful. A staggered death is the last thing that they want in this situation. So they let it go. And that's definitely the better move here. I mean, don't get me wrong. Poking around it a little bit, just like trying to see if the opponent is bluffing, if they have actually all 5 members nearby, or if it's only 2 or 3 that committed to the camp, is absolutely okay. But once that you realize, hey, they're here in full force, you need to step back from it. When it comes to damage, we have 14,000 for Jaina. Oh, beautiful follow-up. Yeah, Granny got eliminated hard. Granny had no chance there. Nashir gets attacked by Nick as he jumps in, but that was a beautiful kill on the side of Washed Up, leaving Ana no chance. She already has a tough time whenever she finds herself in the focus of attention because she doesn't have an escape, and they committed everything to her, and for good reason. Shrine is coming up in another 26 seconds, and by then we'll pretty much have all of the heroic abilities back up online. Anyways, Q is continuing with the NA build, going full cleave here. And it makes a lot of sense that he goes for a setup like this and doesn't try to play around the normal European build simply because of the ping disadvantage that he's going to have for this. So the adjustments make a whole lot of sense here. But it's still kind of impressive how Washed Up is able to make this work so far with only Imperius at the front line, not having a second tank. So they really need these quick engages and fights. And that works kind of nicely for them. 16 talents are ready for pepeMLady then again, which means that we have now a fight on even talents over the next objective, so good for them. And this is, I don't want to say the big one, but this is definitely going to be the moment where one of the teams can start to take a little bit of lead. The Lulnator's already out. Void Prison in the back line, isolating 2. Nicely done. Mosh pit attempt, and it hit its hard, and that's the end of Imperius. Imperius is down. Zeratul is able to get away. Use the Gladiator's Medallion there too. Still gets poked a little bit, but is able to dodge out on Alarak. And with a 5 versus 4, it seems like pepeMLady is going to try to make the play. Wilkie, on the other hand, is getting chased down by Zeratul, but the rest of the team is already on the shrine. They're going for Deckard Cain, trying to lock the old man down. Zeratul with a cleave, and Hanzo with a kill. The 4v4 on the shrine right now. Another Lulnado coming through already. 25 to 25 stacks at this point, and Chromi still firing away from the backline, trying to get a little bit of extra damage in against Q in particular, but Hanzo is low on mana, so that's a bit of a problem. They're trying to focus on the objective right now. Zeratul moving in again, trying to distract them. Yeah, the slide is there though. The follow-up, and there's the kill, but Washed Up locks in the objective. And they're also about to get another kill, aren't they? They go for ETC. Will Q, he gets the heal, but the Punisher jumps in for the action and is finishing him off. And now we are seeing a follow-up kill on Chromi, and Ana is also in trouble. Washed Up is rocking this one hard. Ana able to dodge out on the Hanzo arrow. That could have been the end of her, but the first fort in this game falls. Blaze has rotated towards the top, is about to take one out too, but of course the Punisher push continues in the middle of the map, and Washed Up is hungry for more. They want more kills, and they want more structures, and they might just be able to get a bit of extra damage onto the keep before they have to retreat here. Not overstaying, they realize that they cannot take this down without exposing themselves a bit too much to a potential counterattack, so instead they're rotating to the bottom of the map to get the safe destruction of the second fort and set themselves a little bit ahead on this one. Nicely done. Yeah, 10 kills to 5 now. Nice back and forth. On the quest talents, Hanzo and Chromie not quite done with the level 1 just yet. We have 18,000 as the top damage currently for Alarak on pepeMLady's side. And for the blue team, 35k for Nick. Again, getting the damage in here. So the situation still advantageous for Washed Up. They're level ahead. They have 5 extra kills. They took 2 of the forts down. But then again, the red team is not really out of this yet. So they had a couple of really cool moments. Taking Imperius down in the last fight first was kind of nice, but they never really followed up with the second kill, and that proved to be a little bit problematic. But as long as they get the level 20 for the next objective, they're going to be fine. The question simply is, can they really grab this much experience to make that work? Because there's only one... Yeah, they're actually trying to invade. So pretty much the thought process here is that they need to try and force fights before Washed Up has a talent advantage. So they're trying to steal the opponent's camp away and simply say, hey, we're going to steal this away. That gives us an advantage. If they fight for it, we can take a fight with level 16 talents on both sides. But if we wait too long, then we're going to be in a whole lot of trouble. And Washed Up is currently reacting by pushing the mid lane out a little bit further. Shouldn't really lead to anything though, since the rotation is in time. pepeMLady is going to defend the keep, but it's going to be low. It's going to be really low. And level 20 is going to be ready for Washed Up any second now. So if they can set something up, that would be fantastic. And here come the ults already. The Bullseye is in. We get the Impervious. We have Shadow Mending. And there's the Winter Mute. And uh-oh, ETC! He's in trouble. And yeah, he's dead. That's not really the kill that you want here. And Chromie is also gonna fall. Void Prison comes in too. They are really jumping over the wall and try and take him down. A little bit of a miss. Cesarboss tries to get away and gets the kill against Cure. Nano boost, baby. There we go. And they get another one. It's a triple, baby. That was a bit too cocky. They went in and they said, yep, we can just simply jump over this. And they were very quickly proven that that was a pretty dumb idea. I mean, it was a cool thought. And if it works, then of course it looks fantastic. But right now, they get murdered a bit. 12 kills to 4. Washed Up. They saw an opportunity to come in and maybe decide the game right there. But then Cesarboss on his Alarak just murders them. Nicely done. Level 20 talents are ready for them. 3 heroes down on the other side. Great plays. And now, of course, we have the fight over... Well, do we even have a fight over the objective? I don't really think so. It's a 20-second lead that they'll have, no matter what happens here. So this seems to be like a this seems to be a freebie. This seems to be a big freebie right now for them. They're already going straight in for the objective. That's going to be an Arcane Punisher. Top side, they got Kayn. It's just anchoring the play for Hazu, just in case that there's a rotation, but that's not going to happen. So this is pretty much a free kill that we're currently seeing. Or free objective. They can even go for the camp at the bottom if they want to enhance the push even further. Either way, they're looking great. So, yep, they aggroed the camp just before they took the Punisher, and now they have the chance to push with the 2. The fort is gonna fall. That much is a given. Only question really is how much more can they get. One of the problems for Washed Up is they're gonna lose the keep in... Sorry, for pepeMLady is they're gonna lose the keep in the middle. There's nothing really they can do about this. This keep is gonna fall. Unless they abandon the Punisher push at the bottom of the map completely, the keep falls. And they know that too. So their hands are pretty much tied at this point. Wilq is just faking the Hearth a couple of times. They don't really know where the rest of the blue team is. So in case that there's a backdoor attempt, they need to be ready for it. But now that they have already seen that a few heroes are hiding behind the wall, they can just simply go for it and push. But of course, the goal here is to at least take the keep down and make it, therefore, an even playing field on structures. So that's exactly what we're seeing right now. 16 stacks for Chromie. Gets a little bit closer here. And is already jumping out here again. Quest is completed for Hanzo. Yeah, and they nearly got him. Ooh, that's a big arrow that was currently missed right now. That one goes the full distance. Thankfully, the arrow cam caught all of it. Yeah. Big shout out to our observer, aka me. 12 kills to 8. And the camp is, of course, taken. Would have been a different story if that arrow connects. This is one of those arrows that you can just YOLO out, and if it connects then you are in a good position. If it doesn't, the cooldown will be ready for the next objective anyways. Teams are very unlikely to make big moves before the next shrine is up, unless of course they can trap someone. and get something. But here we go. There's a little bit of a poke at the bottom of the map. Just trying to siege up on this as much as they can. I don't really think that they're... Ooh, careful. Chromie is completing her quest. If they can lock someone in with Alarok's abilities and maybe follow up with an ETC power slide, there's a chance that they're gonna get a kill. It's a bit tricky for pepeMLady because they are still lacking this keep in the middle. There's nothing they could do about that. That thing was just too low on HP either way. But right now, they have to really make a bit of a choice. To be fair, this is the keep that matters the least. Mid lane is the keep that has the least impact of all. Next objective spawns top side. You should be able to push the mid lane out without any problems. So, yeah, there we go. But right here, we have it. And here you can see, the arrow is actually back again. So, as I said, if you just use a heroic ability just after the Punisher pushes over or after an objective, you have no problem there. If you connect it, you might be able to follow up with a couple of kills. If it doesn't connect, it's going to be back for the next fight. So it really depends a bit on the timing. YOLOing it out right now, that would be a mistake. If you have a big cooldown and you use it in a time frame where the next objective might spawn, then you're all of a sudden looking at trouble. But they see an opportunity, and that might just be it. Wilq is low, there's the arrow, and that's the end of ETC. Nicely done. They try for the counter kill against Masquerade, but they can't quite get it. And Washed Up plays, oh, Cure with a kill down here against Alarok. All of a sudden, it's a 5 versus 3, and they're trying to cut the path of retreat of Chromie and of Ana. Bullseye connects. Uh-oh. This is spelling trouble. Dyla is able to get away. But what about Chromie? Chromie is trying to rush out and escapes. What? And Hazu nearly dies. Nice try, but not working for Washed Up. They still got the 2 kills, and the objective is coming up all the way up at the top. So, yeah, the kill that led to all of this was this little setup that we just had there. So, ETC gets caught. Hanzo YOLOs the arrow out a second later after the slow, and that's the kill. And there was no follow-up. Instead, Zeratul got even a second kill against pepeMLady, and now the blue team has full control over the shrine up at the top. 20 more minutes into the game. Now the only thing they can really do about this is try to get the camp at the bottom of the map, maybe create a bit of pressure here, push the lane out. Another arrow. Oh, Dyla moving into it. Damn, son. Masquerade already coming through, and nice cleanse attempt there on the healing. But that arrow, oh boy. Dyla gets out of it, but that was scary for just a second. Now it's going to be scary too as the Punisher pushed through the top now. Someone has to at least go down to the bottom of the map or they're going to lose the keep here. And I'm not sure if they're willing to risk that, since it's not 100% that they're going to win the game through the push. But they're actually they're risking it. They're going to lose the keep, very likely. And instead, they're focusing on the push at the top side, just hoping to end the game right now. And finishing this. So, yeah, there's already a little bit of an attack towards Richu. He still has the bunker up. Cooldowns are all ready, with the exception of Void Prison, which is now back online. And with the keep at the bot lane falling, they really need to do some work up here. Keep goes down. The push, of course, at the bottom of the map through the catapults and the cam continues. But Washed Up in an ideal world would like to end the game here. Punisher is down to 37% then again, so already moving away. And that thing is going to be burned down within seconds. What about the heroes, though? Can Washed Up trap somebody? Get a kill, and it does not look like it. But at the bottom of the map, the keep has also fallen. So, pepeMLady gets pressured back more and more as the game continues, but Washed Up can't really lock the victory in yet. And down here, one catapult is going to be on the core. We are 23 minutes into the game, so that's going to start to hurt the shields quite a bit. But Pure is already Hearthstoning back to deal with it. I don't think that the core is actually taking damage, but with the second catapult, that would have been a completely different ballgame down here. Game wouldn't have been lost or anything, but with the second catapult, the core would have taken at least some damage. So there's 2 lanes now pushing against pepeMLady and 1 against Washed Up. But it's a pretty sick setup here already. We have 2 players that haven't even died yet in this game. Banana H and Deckard Kane has not fallen once, and neither did Hazu, who of course by now also completed his baseline quest already a while ago, so he has the ice block available when he needs it. But we are 24 minutes into this. It's actually a pretty long opening game for our first semifinal here today. Hazu now currently already down at the bottom, opening this wall up a bit as well. And pepeMLady is, of course, on full-on defense. There's very little else that they can do, just defending as much as possible and trying to stay strong here. They are 6 kills behind, but they are not out of this yet. I mean, what they need is really just quick kills now. If they can get a good mosh pit off, if Chromie or anybody else is able to set something up, maybe an nano-boosted Alarak again, you can make plays here. But the arrow connects, the bullseye is the follow-up, and Ana is down. What a beautiful combo again from Washed Up. The arrow of Hanzo connects, the follow-up is there with the bullseye, they lock her down, and that's the end. Void Prison is in, and this doesn't bode well for pepeMLady. This is looking tricky. There's the bunker, at least they're sliding out, still keeping everybody alive, at least for now, but Richu is in a bit of trouble, uses the unstoppable, rushes away, and they are alive. The problem is that Ana is down for another 35, and this keep is wide open. Big chance to take this one down without any problems. They're gonna get this one, and that's the last structure outside of the core that was still on the map. So pepeMLady has to somehow fight for the next objective with not a single keep in play. Every single lane from here on out is gonna push hard against pepeMLady's core. The red team is in a world of trouble here. By now we have 38,000 damage for Chromie, but just look at Hanzo. Disgusting. 74k for Nick. Absolute crushing it. Camps taken all over the place by Washed Up. They are painting the map blue as we speak. Only one mercenary camp at the bottom of the map remains. And Cure can now play the macro game, just push these lanes further in and leave the shrine to the rest of the team. This is more or less the checkmate position that we're talking about right now. And the only thing that pepeMLady can realistically do is YOLO into this fight, try and get a kill in the small time frame they have before the catapults are ripping their core apart. It's brutal. And Cure is doing exactly what I said. He is moving the lanes out. You can see it on the minimap. He's moving these lanes towards the core. It's the only thing they can do. They're trying to make the play for Imperius, and he is still alive. The core is losing hit points. pepeMLady, they're in a checkmate position. They have to fight for the objective. They have no other choice, but that means they have to abandon the core too, and the core falls quickly. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is game as Washed Up takes the 1-0 lead in this series. Lolling around a little bit with the VP too, but that's victory on Infernal Shrines for Washed Up. Nicely done. Great play by them. GG. Okay, let's go. Game number 2, everyone. Cursed Hollows, our second map. Infernal Shrines ended in favor of Washed Up as we are heading into the second map of the best of 3 series here in the semi-final. Washed Up obviously hoping for the 2-0 victory here at the Ice Cold Cup by Chili Mountain. And let's see what we're going to get in terms of picks and bans. I mean, for Cursed Hollow, of course, there's a couple of variations that you can play again. Bigger map, so you could play around an Abathar pick. You could go into something like Falstad again. Globals in general excel on the map. If you're playing with ETC, it becomes an option to go into a stage dive. Zone control for objective on bosses is also kind of important. So a Tyrell with a Sanctification isn't really out of the question either. And it could be kind of fun to see how they're going to play around this. Medivh, he was banned in game number 1, is also another huge option for Washed Up in particular, once again. And, well, as we're heading into our bans, we got the Sylvanas ban right away. So, that is Sylvanas ban. I mean, you can really tell that pepeMLady likes to play with Sylvanas, even when Gore Rider isn't here. Now, Gore Rider is not the only Sylvanas player that they have. They oftentimes switch the hero out, and the player who plays it. But Gore Rider usually has the biggest impact. As I mentioned in the first map, he's actually not present today because he is apparently working on a Sunday and therefore can't help out. But let's see what the rest of them are being able to pull off here. So, we got Imperius, and he gets banned out this time. That's actually one of the things that I mentioned in the last game. I was surprised that we had the Chromie first pick. I would have rather thought that Imperius is a hero that you either want to pick for yourself or at least ban out. Now, of course, you're always in the position where you can't ban everything. It just doesn't work. You just can't sit there and ban everything out, unfortunately, of course, for them. So at some point, you have to just like say, okay, which heroes are we actually going to allow through? Chromie gets banned out this time. There's of course always the question if the Chromie first pick was simply because some of their players are a bit more narrow in their hero pool, since they are playing with a sub-player here today too. So if that's a thing and you're pretty much one-tricking into one or let's say 2-3 heroes, that could explain why we had the early Chromie pick. Therefore, the Chromie ban doesn't really well, makes quite a bit of sense. It's not really too surprising if you're trying to put more pressure on the opponent's team, and they already highlighted that they're highly prioritizing a hero that you normally don't see all that much. It could be because the hero pool is a little bit more narrow on that one player, and if you pick that hero away from them, you just limit their options a little bit more and force them into an uncomfortable position out of their comfort zone completely. So it's actually not a bad idea to ban Chromie out given those circumstances. With that said, here comes the ban on Medivh. I kind of already suggested that a little bit earlier, since Medivh can still be super powerful here, but that leaves D.Va open, and Masquerade is going to take that opportunity right away and locks D.Va in. So yeah, good for him. And what do we see now on the first rotation for pepeMLady? Do they focus again, for example, on Wilkyu with an early ETC or Johanna pick, which are two of his go-tos, as I said in the first one? But no, we got the global, we got Dehaka, and we get Li Ming. So we're still looking at that mage setup where they're trying to blow someone up, but with Dehaka, they have now an opportunity to play more on the global side and just like trying to play a macro style instead of engaging into every single team fight. Question is, of course, if they can still play somehow around Cure a little bit and exploit his ping, but it didn't really seem that way in game number 1. Cure played actually quite well around Zeratul here. Again, adjustments have been made around the heroic abilities. I don't think that from a European player with low ping we would have seen Void Prison, since the talent is pretty much not played on Europe. Very, very, very rarely to more or less never. But they had really good follow-ups on it too. So if you have Deckard Kane in the same setup and you have the Aaron Hanzo, then whenever there is a Void Prison, you can of course follow up on it with additional CC and then get the targets eliminated pretty quickly, which is exactly what they did. This time we got Lucio in, and we have also Jimmy for them now. Which helps, of course. You can play Jimmy in both ways right now. You could either go and say, okay, we're going to go ace in the hole, or you can still play with Exterminator and say, hey, we're going to focus the bosses down super quickly. If that's a style of play that you want to go for, definitely possible. Zeratul gets banned, so they're trying to target Cure with this a little bit, and then I was like, alright, how do we play this? Do we try and target Cure with the draft a bit, or do we have another hero that we want to get rid of? Keep in mind, there's no Kerrigan ban this time. Then again, not really the map where we normally see Nick play the hero. It doesn't mean that he can't play it here. His go-to maps might be Tomb of the Spider Queen and Infernal Shrines, but we've seen him ruin opponents' teams on Towers of Doom and other maps too, so it's definitely an option, depending on what kind of lineup you're playing with this. But right now, we have the next 2 picks coming in for pepeMLady. And, well, let's have a bit of a look of what they are grabbing. Ooh, Diablo for Wilkyu here today. Okay, do we get a combo with that? Are they going to try and set something up for this? Oh, Brightwing! Alright. Fruit Fly action, ladies and gentlemen. We got Trashwing in the game. Trashwing against Lucio. There we go. Leaves us with the last pick, by the way, for them only. But Dibbles at the front, not a hero that Wilkyu normally prioritizes. Still, they're quite powerful. I mean, a lot of these fights are in narrow quarters, so first of all, Apocalypse can give you a lot of value. And in addition to that, if you have a good setup and you get some wall stuns through, you can really murder the opponent. Nick then again coming in for Kira. And we got Banana Age. Locking the last here in. There's gonna be swaps, of course. And has ETC now on the side. So yeah, ETC and D.Va as the 2 frontliners here. And Nick is playing as Kira, which is also kind of terrifying. Yeah, and with this, let's go. Last pick. What do we get for the Polish team? They have to win 2 in a row right now. The favorite washed up. They are in the lead. And the last pick to save the day, Falstad. The bird's the word, as we are going straight in for a little parrot over here. It's chicken time. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, there we go. Game number 2 is set up. We're heading into Cursed Hollow. Second map between pepeMLady and Washed Up. This is a single elimination bracket, which means the loser is out. The loser of the best of 3 series, of course, not necessarily this map. And the winner will advance. Let's jump straight into Cursed Hollow. Game number 2, and pepeMLady is looking at macro. Triple global for the red team. On the left side of the map, we got Washed Up with Masquerade on ETC, Hazorps on Reyna, Nick on Kira. We got Cure on his Smurf account over here on the European server with D.Va, and Banana Age is lulling around with Lucio. To the right side of the map, we're looking at the Wilkio on Diablo, we got Nashir on Liming, and here come the triple globals. We got Dyla on Brightwing, Richu on Dehaka, and Cesabos on Falstad. It's kind of funny if you think about it, because if you look at the players playing and you just like take for 1 second in consideration that the blue team has a player that plays cross-server from North America, you would think that if a team focuses a bit more on macro, it's going to be Washed Up to help Cure with the ping problem that he's going to have here. But instead, we're having pepeMLady going into a triple global setup, so they're clearly trying to play a macro style. They definitely have the damage output they need to also go into a team fight and burn a few heroes down. But the main focus of all of this is going to be to try and control the map through globals. And I personally am really curious if this is going to work out. Because, to be honest, Brightwing is a B tier healer at best. It's been years since Brightwing has been on the top of the meta. There's a couple of compositions and a couple of teams that had success with Brightwing and certain combos that they were playing on some of the maps. But Brightwing and Dehaka are not really top tier heroes anymore. Now, for Dehaka, pretty much the same is true as for Brightwing. Depending on the map, depending on the style, you see him occasionally. But the times where Dehaka was, I don't want to say an insta-pick, but definitely like a safe choice and a hero you would see quite regularly, they are long gone. The times of Fnatic playing global strategies are over. But in this case, they're trying to make it work. And unfortunately for them, the dinosaurs are about to get extinct again. Brightwing comes in too, and they are starting to feed heroes into this. So far, they can still keep everybody alive, but the fruit fly is about to go down, obliterated by Lucio. They don't get a second kill with this, but that's not a good start for pepeMLady. The idea is there though. You start to invade the opponent, you really try to force these fights around globals that will allow you to create a numbers advantage in the team fight and then take that advantage to grab kills and get ahead in the game. But it already started to backfire, and let's not forget, they also didn't take their own camp, so there's a big push coming now through the middle as they are coming straight in for this one. Top side, that's where Falstad is currently sitting. Another kill as Diablo goes down, and the entire strategy that we're seeing from pepeMLady is already starting to fall apart a bit. Now, they still can catch a lot of the side lane experience if they keep their globals in a good position, but things are looking rough early on for them. We have 2 kills against 0. Falstad went into Wingman. Has also then on the level 4 gone into the Static Shield. We have the Triumvirate, which we now see in most meta builds for a couple of months now already. And on the side of Kira, again, the Fatal Wounds on level 1. We're looking at Upstage over here for D.Va, the Rushdown after the Liquid Cooling. But with 2 kills to 0, a level advantage, and also a good position for the first Tribute, things are looking very, very good for Washed Up. Of course, not really a game-deciding situation just yet. Level 10 abilities can always change things. But the strategy that pepeMLady has here is, is starting to struggle a little bit. But again, late game will tell us a lot. They can't really force a fight over the Tribute there either. Not only were they not quite in position for it, but also the early level 7 for Washed Up would have made it impossible for them to engage into a longer fight. In an ideal world, what you want to do if you're pepeMLady and you're running 3 globals is to extend the duration of that fight, if you can take it, for as long as possible, because it would allow you to have heroes in the mid and top lane and soak experience, and then just in the pinch, portal down and fight the battle. So there's a bit of a push down there. Actually trying to make a little bit of a play for Diablo. Bomb is already coming out of D.Va over here. And there's the defense set up. Nicely done. Top side in the meantime, which is already sitting tight, but loses 1 tower regardless. We have now level 7 abilities ready for both teams. Calamity comes in, of course, on level 7 right away for Liming. Again, no boomerang. We've seen a few of those approaches already. For Falstad, loses out some of the side lane clear that he would have. Nashir with the Gladiator's Medallion, barely able to dodge out on the gank. The info was there. Team called it. Was a bit late on this, but off we go. So right now, things are looking up a little bit more, as long as they can really use these globals. And they're trying to go for Nick, actually. But the fight turns against Wilq, and Diablo might be in trouble, especially with the power slide now, and Wilq goes down. Kill number 3, and that's still a 1-level lead for the blue team. And let's not forget, I talked about this a bit during the draft, that we have also Exterminator for Hazorb. So they will have a good setup not only to grab all these camps that they've taken already, but also to take bosses. Those bosses spawn just now at the 5-minute mark, and with Hazorbs on Exterminator, they are immediately trying to get the first one. And why wouldn't they? It's half a... Ooh, Hazor gets actually caught, thankfully for him, not in the stun, but the root hits. But they commit with everything to it. Diablo is all the way up at the top. So this could actually end up with a situation where Washed Up is taking both bosses. Yeah, D.Va can sniff this out. There's the first one taken, and if they rotate quickly, they have a chance. D.Va could maybe hold it a little bit longer, but nah, the damage is there. This should just work out for pepeMLady, but they might be forced into the fight. Oh, and with EDC going stage dive, they won't be able. There's D.Va coming in. The boss is about to be claimed. They're fighting for the spot. They're starting to take it. Good ult again from Nick as they're going for the kills. Diablo and Dehaka are both about to fall. That's a double kill, and the boss is taken away. The stage dive making it possible here with the help of D.Va, who's specced on 10 into the micro missiles. We also have the unrelenting strike. What a great setup. Now they're moving for Brightwing, and the Fruit Fly goes down again. A little bit of more damage coming in against Li Ming, but that was fantastic for them. The fight coming through, now with the tribute taken at the bottom of the map. We also have the curse going strong, and that was just fantastic. A lot of momentum now in the hands of Washed Up as they are just taking the opponents' candy away. Now top lane push is also coming in. 6 kills to 1 right now. Level 10 abilities are finally ready for both teams as pepeMLady is desperately trying to set up a defense here. It's not going to be easy. Hinterland Blast. The memes are strong at this point. We get Hinterland Blast right now as pepeMLady is pretty much already realizing that this is going to be a tough one. ETC is grabbing a hold over the middle. Stage dives in after escorting another minion wave towards the fort, which is definitely going to fall. But can they get the keep? Yes, of course they can. They take the keep down, and the entire game is just falling apart. Washed Up is going for a speed run over here. 7 minutes in, they go for another kill. They're trying to set it up against the Haka, but ETC goes down. ETC dead. Can they still get the core though? The boss is already on it. The problem, of course, it's an early boss, so they might not be able to pull it off after all, especially with only 4 heroes. But Nick is moving in, is trying to get the kill. The drag does not connect with Kira, but it still connects with Lucio, and that's the end of him. The core is losing hit points on the other hand, as they're still trying to chase a little bit further. 86, 83%. What an opening into game number 2 here. 78% on the core. We're not even 8 minutes into the game. All the forts are eliminated. 1 keep is lost. Only 2 standing. What a setup for Washed Up. Beautiful fight. Beautiful game so far. And the triple global strategy is not working whatsoever for pepeMLady. And coming back with this particular strategy in the situation that they're in right now is going to be tough. 6 kills to 3. The lead for Washed Up. They take the camps now. Damage output. D.Va is sitting at 26,000 top damage for the blue team, whereas we have Li Ming on 21,000 for pepeMLady. But they got the global still. They can still control these lanes. Even with the top lane losing the keep, they have the power to push these lanes out. But they need to win team fights. And this is not going to be easy at all. So right now, let's see what they can do with this. They are able to grab the level 13 talent, so that helps already. Dialer down here might be in trouble as Nick is moving in. Brightwing, and yeah, jumps out. Alright, Brightwing gets away, went into the blink heal. That one was important. Wilq is hoping to get a wall stun in, but Masquerade is playing this super safe. If you play against the triple global, you need to be careful. You need to be incredibly careful. If you move out, if you venture out too far on a lane, then you can easily find yourself facing 3 to 4 opponents. Don't want to do that. So he's playing this very, very carefully, since everybody else is just telling him, listen, we don't know where Li Ming is. We don't know where Diablo is. Play this safe. The drag doesn't connect, but he knows what's up here. Yeah, still hammers around a little bit. Bot lane, camps are stolen now. as the blue team is playing more around this, and there's already the Hearthstone back because the rest of the blue team is simply saying, hey, if you're trying to gank up on ETC topside, we're just going to push the bottom of the map. ETC has stage dive. If we need a fight, he's going to come in for the fight. So right now, we have another tribute spawning. Likely a fourth. Well, actually, I think pepeMLady is very likely going to fight for this one. They should, at least. There's no level 16 talent just yet, so there's an opportunity. And, well, let's have a look. ETC is pushing the top lane out, as he should. It's not really going to have... It's not going to be of consequence, honestly. 10 minutes into the game, these catapults at the top are not going to do a whole lot against the core. It's more about what's happening here. They give this one up. They don't want to fight before 16. And that's actually a smart choice. What is the best thing that could happen for pepeMLady? Think about that for just a second. The best thing for pepeMLady is fight level 13 talents against 13 talents, take a kill or two, close the gap in experience a little bit, and continue the game and try and catch up. Washed up? Why would they fight? They wait for 16 and now they force the fight over the boss. And that's a horrible fight for pepeMLady. And once the boss is taken, bottom keep is likely gone. Boss is about to fall. Richu wants to steal it away. Azu comes in. Hinterland blast. The slide. ETC. Diablo. Everybody on the point right now. And Liming trying for the resets. But Washed Up is about to grab it. Diablo is down. And that's going to be the end of Dehaka as well. They try to go for the bird. Kills all over the place. That's the end of Liming. It's a triple baby. They're looking for the team wipe. They go for Dyla. At least Nick is eliminated, but the Fruit Fly is dead, and so is Falstad. This team fight sealed the game. Big fight, the second fight over the boss, and for the second time, pepeMLady was successful. Diablo is back, he had the souls, but he dies again. Bottom keep is gonna get attacked. Catapults are already up at the top. ETC stage diving around and having some fun here, but this is gonna be the lights out move right here as they are starting to move in on it. Nicely done. What a game by Washed Up. pepeMLady tried something a little bit different with a heavy focus on globals. It didn't work for them. It backfired hard. Washed Up is going to take this with a 2-0 and moves on to the grand final of the Ice Cold Europe Cup by Chili Mountain. GG and well played as the blue team locks in a 2-0 victory in this best of 3 semifinal.
Thank you everybody for watching the video today. I hope that you enjoyed the show and the commentary. And keep in mind that the spoiler protection that is going to run for the rest of the video is made possible by all the support on patreon.com. So guys, if you want to support my work, if you want to help me start new projects and keep the spoiler protection in place, please consider heading over to patreon.com/Khaldor. There's also a link in the YouTube description and check that out. Thanks in advance, and see you guys next time with more esports coverage here on Khaldor TV. Have a great day.